Good morning. This morning I have another competitive game lined up for you. This is a game at the BYG tournament this fall in Denmark, and it was between Bjarke, the grand old man of Danish bolt action, a fellow TO, and he has been trying to get on the WTC team. Hasn't managed to do so yet, but he wants to go abroad and fight games as well. He's not a hyper competitive player. He's more of a casual player, I guess. But he does bring the A game. He knows his stuff. He knows how to play, and he does go to the competitive events as well. Um, and Bjarke is fighting against Lasse, who is um, a he's a player from Fyn here in Denmark, and he is one of our top painters. He has a very, very nicely painted, very specifically, like realistically painted German army, which has won many painting competitions here in Denmark. And he's bringing parts of that for this game. We won't actually see it that much, but Lasse's build is a tank platoon, a German tank platoon here, and Bjarke is bringing his Soviets, his main army. So I have reconstructed the army lists, but they are partly from memory, so there might be slight mistakes in them. So, but let's just go and view them, shall we? Right. So this is Bjarke's platoon. 15 order dice, 996 points. I guess there might be an extra SMG somewhere there and there. I can't actually remember. It's a double platoon, and it has got a inexperienced junior lieutenant. He brings that for both of his platoons. Double People's Militia. Bjarke loves these People Militias. They are green and some of them are unarmed. 8-man units here. He brings a poly truck, which is the one that has inspiring rhetoric, so that your inexperienced dudes can actually shoot as if they were regulars. Very nice. And I'm guessing that he will be joining these 3 units, the Free Rifle Squads and the People's Militia. A single dog mine team, 2 men, a medium howitzer, regular with a spotter, a BA-10 and a Tokarev and a truck. That's the first bunch of units here, the first platoon. Second platoon was an inexperienced junior lieutenant, double assault engineers with submachine guns and a single Panzerfaust and flamethrowers. Bjarke, typically, because he's a casual player and a little bit of a rivet counter, he doesn't bring that many Panzerfausts, because they didn't have that many Panzerfausts, did they? And I guess the flamethrowers are typically enough, anyways. A BA-20 with a flamethrower, and a Stuart, the darker recce version. So that is Bjarke's platoon. A very, very nice, very hard army. Bjarke did well during the weekend. And he was facing off against Lasse's, a little bit softer in some respects. German tank platoon. He had 12 order dice, 1,000 points. Now, I also fought Lasse's tank platoon here, and it is deceptively weak in the order dice here, because it does have all the tools. It's really a bring everything I need sort of tank platoon. And some of his units absolutely trashed mine. He had, well, I'll show you. Well, he brings the Panzer III with the extra MMGs. This one in my game against Lasse was absolutely key. It was really good and was very difficult to kill. And then he had double Panzer Lux. They are terrifying with that light autocannon. Very, very strong choices. Recce on all of those. Motorcycle with machine gun sidecar, also with recce, so a lot of recce, and a Panzerwerfer. Now the Panzerwerfer in my game against Lasse, it absolutely killed. It was the thing that killed most of the units that I lost in our game. I won our game, but I think he killed 5 of my units with this one Panzerwerfer. Crazy. a unit of Brandenburgers to, lock down the enemy's possibilities of actually doing stuff. An Osttruppen squad, which were, well, they're extra bad now, but they're basically just an order dice and an objective holder for Lasse. And a Storm Pioneer veterans, trimmed out with Panzerfausts and submachine guns, anti-tank rifle, light artillery. Now this light artillery was bought veteran. Notice that. It's a veteran light artillery with a gun shield. That was very hard to kill. A horse-drawn limber for the artillery, which Lasse is quite good at just hiding somewhere. And then a half-track Hanomag with extra MMGs, I guess. Is that right? Okay. I don't remember that. Anyways, the half-track in our game, it died quite early on. So, right. That was the list. And let's go and watch the game. I have it somewhere. Here, I think. Might have set this up in advance, mightn't I? Which one is it? Yeah. Here we go. So they're playing on the same table that we saw in the last game I featured here. They're just talking through the missions and everything. They are playing a version of key positions. Notice the objectives placed around the table here. Talking through the lists, we're going to skip this part. Talking through the terrain, you should always do that with your opponent. Lasse is the one with the nice hairdo on our side, and Bjarke is on the opposite side here. Now, in this scenario, I can't remember if it's dice in the bag or what. Taking a long time setting up here. Right. Yes, it is dice in the bag deployment. Good. They're getting ready. Bjarke is counting his dice. Right. Now, there's an exclusion zone running down there because in this version we're playing diagonally. So there's an exclusion zone running down here. So Bjarke has to deploy over here in this corner, and Lasse deploys in this corner down where my face is. And then you start the game. Right, I just move my face to the other end of the screen here, just so I'm not in the way of the deployment. They're measuring out the deployment zones. Now this table has some very nice angles that are covered by the walls. As I mentioned in the last video, this table won best setup of the day. I was pleased about that. It's my table. Right. So Lasse has the first order dice. He sets up his, is that a Panzer Lux, I think? Behind that wall. It's low enough that he can actually fit it there. So he's not in any real danger as long as he stays behind the wall, I think. Then Lasse gets the next order die, sets up his horse-drawn limber. Again, way down in his own deployment zone where he is safe. Lasse pulls another of his own dice. It's fairly unlikely, but, well, it happens. He's thinking about it. That is his anti-tank rifle. He sets it up right at the edge of his deployment zone towards the exclusion. That has some very nice, can you see that? Very nice visual. You can lock down a lot of that table just by going on ambush and being down and being an annoyance over there, right? Small team, soft cover behind the field. Lasse draws another of his dice. This is not good, Lasse. You're going to need Bjarke to do something. He sets his Panzerwerfer behind the wall where it can see all of the houses. That's good. The Panzerwerfer is tall enough that it can actually see over that wall. Now it's Bjarke's turn, finally. Oh, he almost dropped his chair there. Bjarke measures out his deployment zone. Goes right through that house. Right. He sets up his free squad first. Right around the objective. That is perfect. That is possibly where they're going to stay, unless he can actually push them up towards this objective over here. There is a possibility of actually moving around here. Just it's one run and a single walk, and then you're on the second objective if he can push. We'll see what he does. Lasse pulls out the next order dice. Again, it's Bjarke's. I can see that Bjarke has kept a truck and 6 engineers in reserve, maybe even outflank. And I think he put his dog team in that truck as well. There are 3 units, 3 dice on his board here. Can you see? Sort of missed what that was. But that is definitely a truck. That is definitely 6 engineers. Maybe it's even both engineer units. Could really be, because that is militia, that is militia. It is. It's both of the engineers in the truck. That's it. Mystery figured out. Lasse goes again. He uses the order dice just to go down inside trucks. We played. I know there are different ways that different methods play this, but we do it like this: that you can actually say that you're placing a unit inside a truck, and that will be fine. That counts as having deployed it. Bjarke's turn to do something. He deploys some militia. But where will they go? All the way over to the forest. Yeah. They have the possibility maybe at some point of pushing up against the objective over here. And yeah, they're threatened by the anti-tank rifle, but that's one shot, and possibly Bjarke can do something about that at some point. We'll have to see. And Bjarke gets another order dice. At this point, he really wants to not deploy his tanks too early. He wants Lasse to deploy most of his armored assets before he does so. So I would guess that he would take yeah, he takes an officer, one of the lieutenants. He tries to be a little bit away from his own units so that the Panzerwerfer doesn't have too many targets all at once. Yep, that's a lieutenant. Goes down there. He's completely safe. Nothing can hurt him there. There's a wall that covers him completely. Lasse's turn. He deploys his second Panzerlux. This is slightly dangerous for him. He can deploy down where he's deployed all of his other armored assets, and that will give him hard cover. But if it doesn't, there's no place where he can really put it where Bjarke can't have a shot at it with his anti-tank gun on the steward. Because Bjarke could deploy over here, setting up ranges there. Lasse deploys safely all the way over there. That makes it really difficult for Bjarke to get a shot, and possibly he can't even behind that forest. That's sort of good. You can deploy further forward, Lasse, and yeah, he does. Yeah, all the way behind the forest. Completely safe. Bjarke's turn. Second unit of militia going down. But where will they go? Nope. Nope. Oh, he takes an officer instead. All the way behind the forest, next to the first group of the militias. Yep. Bjarke gets another order dice. if I had one criticism, and Bjarke, you know this, you do think for quite a long time. That can be a problem when you're playing tournament settings and you're timed, right? That's his dog team. Bjarke was thinking about maybe setting that up. But he's worried about the Panzerwerfer, and he should be. Um, so he needs to deploy. He needs his troops to be a little bit scattered so that the Panzerwerfer doesn't get too many targets all at once. He deploys inside that house. Yeah, I think he does. And he changes his mind again and deploys behind the house. Okay. For me, that's a little too scattered, if that makes sense. But there are some lines of advance. You could advance around the house and along these walls up towards the center objective. Yep, that is possibly what he's thinking. Right, had a little break there, sorry. Alright, Lasse is placing his artillery piece. His light howitzer. If he places it there on the road, he can cover four objectives. He can cover the one over here. He can cover the center one. He can cover that one and this one. That's 4 objectives covered by that one artillery piece. That's really good placement. Place it right here. Now Bjarke's turn to place. I'm sorry for the jarring breaks if they're really bad. Oh, Bjarke has an artillery piece. I did not notice that in his army list. Something is off. Okay. Or did I? Maybe I did know the medium artillery piece. Can't remember now. And he's doing the right thing. Always try and figure out your angles. Pie slicing, we used to call it when I was playing Infinity, the game. Like, figure out what can you see. Can the enemy actually see me? And right now, Lasse's artillery piece can't see him, but he can see the anti-tank rifle. So he's checking his angles, and he also has an angle down the road towards the center objective. another ordered ice for Bjarke here. I really like the fact that we can actually see his army being laid out here, because that means that we can really follow along what his decision-making process is, right? Come on, Bjarke, you're taking way too long with this. Come on, pick something. That is Bjarke's BA-20. It's getting ready to set up. Bjarke is worried about the Panzerwerfer. He is way too worried about the Panzerwerfer here. And as Lasse points out, well, I can shoot at the houses. So you can't really hide. So he puts the BA-20. Or he's thinking about the road. I think he does. Yeah. He puts it on the road. Bjarke is trying to optimize his setup for the first turn here. Don't know how much he's actually thinking about later turns, but he's definitely trying to figure out where do I want to go for this first turn to make sure that the first and the second turn I don't get absolutely pasted in those. And then he relies on his intuition for fighting the later turns. Now he's taking his BA-10. Setting up next to the BA-20. The BA-10 has a light anti-tank gun, so it's actually kind of useful. Classically Bjarke, he's second guessing himself all the time. Right. Lasse is being a gentleman about it, letting Bjarke have his doubts. Now Lasse puts his motorcycle onto the board. The main issue for this motorcycle is that it needs to go somewhere where it can move away from potential threats, right? Yeah. For me, I would set it up somewhere on that central road, not blocking the line of sight for the howitzer. Yeah, he sets it up right next to his howitzer and anti-tank rifle. Centrally, that means that a Lasse can push from this center here towards the objective where it's headed is right now, over here, or towards the central objective in his own deployment zone, and towards the central objective in the center of the board, contesting any of them that he needs to. No, he second guesses himself. What? Come on, Lasse, you're being Bjarke now. Remember, Lasse, you have Recce. You can just move away from enemy shots. And because of the way the motorcycle works, you have a lot of maneuverability. That motorcycle set up down here could move behind the house, could make a run move over here, could, you know, run back here. There's a lot of opportunities. He second guesses himself enough that he puts down his uh, Brandenburgers in the half track instead. Oh man. And he blocks off his own howitzer. Oh, Lasse, no. No. Why? Well, it's a good place to put the Hanomag because you can slowly go up towards the central objective. He's setting up for that. Unloading a bunch of Storm Pioneers on the center objective, that's always useful. And I can't remember if it's his Storm Pioneers or his Brandenburgers in this truck, in the Hanomag. Then he sets up his truck on the road with the rest of his infantry in that, I think. Yeah. Now comes the big one. The Panzer III. He sets it up centrally, which I think is a good idea because it is his best tank. You should always run your heavy tanks, I think. This is not a heavy tank, actually. It's just a steward, basically. But you should run them centrally. For Lasse here, this is his heaviest tank. It's his best tank. So it needs to go centrally. It needs to dominate the table. And he does this in this game against Bjarke, and he does it also in his game against me. He ran straight down the middle of our game. And finally, I think the motorcycle goes where I said it should go, right next to the howitzer. Right. And the rest of the order dice are all Bjarke's. Now what Lasse has done here, he has made a flank of his light tanks. They can sort of swing around into this area here towards the central objective. And they're really good skirmish tanks. So in that respect, this is a pretty safe bet that he can dominate those two objectives. His Panzerwerfer is just going to stay here shooting at whatever, disrupting the enemy formations, so that his main battle tank, his Panzer III, and his Pioneers and his Brandenburgers can sort of rush the central objective. That is his plan. The objective on his left over here, I think he's going to try and contest that or take it with his anti-tank rifle and have his motorcycle support that move. That's the plan, at least. Now comes the Tokarev in a line along the road. Everything on that road that is maybe not optimal, which Bjarke himself also says that he feels like he's a shooting gallery. I think Bjarke is forgetting the actual power of his own army compared to Lasse's here. Bjarke's list is quite good, and Lasse is low on infantry compared to Soviets here. Being a tank platoon, that is what you'll have to deal with, right? Then the steward comes down. His job, you can't move, can't deploy all the way up, but he's checking. That's pre-measuring, Bjarke. You're not allowed to do that. Well, you are a little bit, but okay. He sets up his steward. He wants to make sure that he's sort of safe. But you know what happens when you do that, Bjarke? Right now, Can you all see that? He's setting up here to go this way. What will happen as soon as he clears that road? Sorry, not road. That wall there. He can get shot in the side from this tank, and he can get shot in the face from these two Panzer Lux. That Stewart is in deep trouble if it moves forward. I think that's a mistake. Then Bjarke puts his dogs teams right next to the house here centrally. I think that's a good idea. From there, they can easily move up to where they can sort of start pushing and threatening the central tank. That's good, but they are now sitting ducks for the Panzerwerfer. That can hurt them now. Final thing is his spotter for his howitzer. And he wants to be able to see that Panzerwerfer so that he can shoot it. Lasse is already training his Panzerwerfer towards that parking lot down in Bjarke's back line. Yeah. If he can see that, somebody's in trouble. Bjarke puts down his reserves. That's a good place to place your observer, isn't it? That's the spotter. From there, he can see basically most of Lasse's deployment. He can see the artillery placement down here. He can see the tanks. All is open. That's a good place to set him up. And because his small team, he counts as hit and he counts as down in cover. Yeah, he's never going to die. Right. Setting up for turn one. I'll just skip ahead to turn one. First order dice. Bjarke starts out by calling down fire on the Panzerwerfer. For me, this is a mistake. He's going to need a 6. He does not get it. You know why this is a mistake? Because now he's zeroing in, right? But Lasse can just move that Panzerwerfer. He can just move it away and the zeroing in goes away. And it doesn't really matter for the Panzerwerfer. That can still shoot. Lasse's turn. Lasse takes way too long. I think you should go and ambush with some of your stuff, Lasse. Maybe the Panzer III on ambush. Good idea. He puts the anti-tank rifle on ambush instead. Also a good idea. Lasse goes again. you can easily go on ambush with the Panzer III. But you can also waste time by going down with the horse-drawn limber. Although it can't go down, it can make a move that is basically on the spot. The smallest move in the world, we call it in Denmark. Lasse goes again. Now, how soon does he push up and unload his nastiness on the center objective? Turn 1? Is that too soon? Yeah, I think so. I think you should wait at least one turn. He fires the Panzerwerfer. Now to check line of sight. Where does he want to shoot? Declare first, then check line of sight. So Lasse gives it an advance order. He turns. And moves into the field, I think. Yep. We just need this back to move away. Yeah, he moves into the field, removing the zeroing, and then he shoots. He shoots at the house and the free squad and the poly truck. Nope. And the dogs. None of them get hit. The house. Nothing is hit. See, that was why I felt like it was a mistake for Bjarke to shoot at the Panzerwerfer so early, because he can still move and shoot. None of his shots will matter. Bjarke goes down with his reserves. Just wasting order dice. I think his steward just went on ambush as well. Which I guess is better than pushing up, because pushing up would be dangerous. Yeah. Lasse has the dice. He orders one of the Panzerlooks to advance. He advances up and into no man's land, next to the house, I guess. Yeah. Bjarke now has the opportunity to spring his ambush, but Lasse has hard cover. There's like a huge log pile that he's behind. Bjarke does not spring his ambush, I agree, because we have range and maybe some cover for the fences between them, and movement. So it's sixes. Sixes, yes. Sixes to hit. And he gets it. Lasse gets it. So it's a +1 because it's +2 normally. So it can't actually damage the steward. Not even glance it. So it just takes a pin. You can actually you can give it 2 pins. because HE. And he does give it 2 pins. That was good, because now the second Panzerlux can move up and start doing the same, so they can tag team that steward into oblivion, so the steward won't ever get a chance to do anything now, if they're lucky. Yeah, now he can move the second one up, and I think he does. Into the forest, or yeah, the forest makes sense, because that will give you light cover as well. Bjarke springs his ambush, but by now it's not going to. So it's long range, soft cover, it's pinned. He needs a 6. Not getting it. Lasse again has to roll 6s as well. Does not get it. But now he's set up. You can see that he's got double lines of fire on that steward. This whole section is now dominated by Lasse's tanks, meaning that Bjarke will have a difficult time moving up towards it. It's really interesting if his central push will be worth it. Strong enough. Right, Bjarke moves up his free squad. Quite relaxed in his movement of troops and placement as well. This was the first game of the first day, so it's very early in the tournament. Lasse gets an order dice. He thinks. He checks. He's in a situation now that where he needs to do something before Bjarke does something else, especially over near his head and mine, where Bjarke has yet to do anything with his whole line of vehicles down here and his infantry behind this forest. So what does he do? Okay. He drives along the edge of his own side. That will put him in safety from the column of vehicles, but Bjarke's infantry can now move into the forest and take the shots. His infantry is inexperienced, but so movement, possibly range, possibly cover. So Lasse's motorcycle might be able to tank that. He gets an order dice more. What you really want typically when you're down on order dice like Lasse is here is you really want the opponent to go first, and then you react if you can. And you're going to have to weather what the opponent throws at you at that point, which is always a bit of a problem. lots of ambushes, lots of doing nothing. So he went down with the troops in the truck, I think. What does he do now? Again, he gets one of the order dice. The draw has not been in favor of Lasse here, right? He really wants Bjarke to commit to doing something. If he moves up his tank, Bjarke's counterpunch with the two armored cars can be deadly. If you move too far anyway. So what does he do? He moves up a little bit. Lasse, you should really turn that tank right now. No, don't just. You should turn it. Okay, the reason why I want him to turn it is, right, if Bjarke takes a shot that's outside of 45 degrees, which he might be able to get, then it will be a side shot into him. So right now, Lasse is trying to take the shot down there, but there's no reason why he shouldn't just turn the vehicle here. He doesn't want to go straight up anyways. Or if he does, he can always take the turn first. But you should really turn that to face whatever threats that's coming at you. He takes the shot, long range, hard cover, moved, 7. Not gonna happen. He rolls 2 dice at once, no. Right. Bjarke gets the dice. Right now, he could start doing stuff with his infantry and his lieutenants, right? He has lieutenants here, he has a lieutenant there. And he activates his poly truck commissar behind the building. He just needs to stay alive and stay within 6 inches of these guys. So that's what he's doing. He's going down. Then the lieutenant moves up towards the steward in order to give it a morale bonus, so that all the pins might be lessened in effect. What does Lasse do now? I still think it's too early to push towards the center objective for Lasse. I think he should save his troops, just go down with some of it. And I think that his half track needs to move. Actually, you know what? What would be beneficial? If it moved through the wall down behind this building. That would give him almost total cover, and his engineers would be pretty close to entering the building and then pumping out. Or he could always climb the wall, go around. But that would open up his fields of fire with his light howitzer. Instead, Lasse drives up towards that house with his truck, gets into cover. Do we think he might want to push towards this objective here? He may. But he's leaving this objective in his own deployment zone right now. He doesn't really have anything that can take and hold that, and that's an easy objective to take and hold. Although he could, of course, run out the truck and run back. Lasse gets another order dice. He lifts up his howitzer. Sorry, I think this is a mistake. He moves up. That means he leaves his perfect line of sight, but it does give him a little bit more towards this flank. Many people are afraid to move their artillery, right? That they want them to stay in place, and well, sometimes it's better to stay in place. I think this was a mistake, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Bjarke's thinking about maybe pulling out with his infantry, but again, as we talked about before, he'll have been moving. It'll be long range. He's inexperienced, so it'll be at least sixes. And some of his guys are unarmed because they're militia. So you know what you could do right now, Bjarke, sorry. The infantry behind this house. Right now, there's nothing really threatening it. It could make a run towards this wall here, like right around, get out of the way, and then up towards this wall where they need to go. They need to be able to push these center objectives, right? He has plenty to hold the objective in his own deployment zone, this one. So it's the centers that he needs to push. That might be an idea. I'm second guessing everything they do, aren't I? Well, it's the benefit of hindsight, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, I'm really not trying to crap on these guys. They're both wonderful people and good players. So I am not here to say what they're doing is wrong. It's just, I have to fill out the blanks, say something. Yeah, Bjarke, you need to go forward. He's thinking about going forward, but he's thinking, he's overthinking. Just get your infantry up behind that wall. There they will have hard cover. I think that would be best. Right, just had a short break here. Bjarke is thinking about maybe starting his push. He pushes towards the fence. I would have pushed the other way around, as I already told you guys. I think I think he should have gone the other way, but now he has measured from the first to the last, and he just moves the whole group in one big blob between the two. That's pretty common to see people do that. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. In many instances, even though I do play bold action competitively and as much competitive as I can, um, these rather relaxed moves are completely within the frame of what I think you should allow at a tournament. It's just something everyone knows that they're going to end up somewhere around there. It's not, yeah. I mean, don't be a fascist about your movement in that regard, unless of course it matters a lot whether or not you just get just within range of a shot or whatever. Right, Lasse's turn. He drives his Hanomag up. I think this is still too soon. We're still in turn one. But we'll see. He gets the next order dice. He goes down with his infantry in it. So he is keeping it for later turns, but he still moves a little bit up. He's still safe, isn't he? He's got that whole house to still stay behind. Now Bjarke starts his rush. The dogs, they run into there's like a little wall courtyard in front of that house. They run up and get in front of that. The dogs are just markers, so they can stay anywhere you want to. Two dogs. Right. The rest of the order dice is all Bjarke's, so he basically just moves the rest of his army. Everything Lasse has now gone. Bjarke's still thinking about, is it now that I do the rush or not? I think you should rush now, Bjarke. I think you should get up there, see if you can get the first ordered ice and push towards those. Because, okay, see this, right? He can do an advance 24 inches along this road and still take the shot with his BA-10. If it's there, it might be there. The BA-20 could also move all the way up here at a run or something, and then if he gets the first order line next turn, push around and start flaming or, yeah. Here we go. Here comes the BA-20 first. Moves up there. I think that was a mistake. I think he should have pushed a little bit further. He needs to get in range of an assault run next turn, right? That's the most important bit. But maybe he needs to have the range as well, because he's only able to move 24. Maybe he could run the full 48 up to here. He could. He should have. Anyway, again, I'm second guessing. Sorry about that. But these two armored cars, they do have recce, right? So he's not in any real danger if he pushes them up and just bets on getting the first order ice, because he can always recce. Ah, he's still complaining about that Panzerwerfer. Ah, he's too scared of it right now, I think. Panzerwerfers are good, yes, but they're just a multi-launcher. It just is one single multi-launcher. Yes, the enemy might roll those sixes, and in his game against me, Lasse certainly did, but it it doesn't happen. It's not guaranteed, right? So, okay. Bjarke moves conservatively, but that means that right now, that house is just perfect target for the multi-launcher. He's moved. He needs a 7. He shoots at the motorcycle down here by Lasse's head. He needs a 7. Nope. He doesn't get it. And then his truck. That's a Tokarev truck. For me, I think the best spot for that truck right now is pushing towards this flank over here. It's not really needed in the center, too much armor. The Tokarev is really good against soft targets, so that would be over here. Yeah, and Bjarke is setting up, so he has the opportunity of going both ways if he needs it. He lines up, sees if he has a shot. I'm not sure that he does. What does he have left? Did he move all the infantry? Yeah, yeah. The infantry over here is still unmoved. He pushes into the forests. I sort of expected this. He pushes to the edge so that he can shoot without giving cover. This is what you have to do. Moved, inexperienced, long range, 6s. What does he have? 5 shots? No. 7. And he doesn't get a single one. Oh, oh, that sucks. Bjarke being very fastidious with his dice here. Oh, we all have our quirks, don't we? I don't like other people touching my dice. I always play with the same set of dice, and I don't like other people touching them. They might, take some of their luck. Yeah, we all got weird stuff with dice. Right, so that was turn 1. They're picking up the order dice. I am going to skip ahead to turn. Why are they waiting? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Right. I shouldn't skip in the video, should I? Because it just makes it a little bit confusing. I think Lasse got the first order dice here. Turn 2. What's really good now is Lasse has the opportunity to push against Bjarke's push here. But how does he open it? Because there's both a BA10, a BA20, the dogs as well. There's a steward and a Tokarev. All of it is just there, and he needs to sort of cut it into bits a little bit at a time. I think he should start by shooting his Pensalux on the flank at the steward. And then if you get the next order dice you get, or you could actually start shooting the other Pensalux at the BA20 as well. Because the steward is still pinned. We don't know if it will be enough though. Right now, Lasse is just very much in the way here, isn't he? I'm terribly sorry about the camera angle here. It was really difficult finding one. But I've now gotten an extra camera, so I can set up multiple angles or directly above the table if I can get like something to hang it from. Ooh, Lasse chooses to push his main Panzer III up. Before he shoots, he's declared his action. Before he measures anything, Bjarke has to declare whether or not he's wrecking. And Bjarke is aware that if he wreck his away here, he's also got trouble if he does that. Right? If he's trying to figure out the angles, how to get away here, he just said he could recce over here, but that would open him up for a shot by the light arty. He could also try and get behind, but that will block up his own lines. What he could do, if I'm seeing this correctly, is he might be able to sneak down along this house, get hard cover. It's not guaranteed, though. What will you choose? I would recce. I don't care. I would definitely recce. He recces. He moves over there. And of course, because he's a recce vehicle, he can turn while reversing in recce here. Then he gets the ambush, because Lasse had left his anti-tank rifle on ambush. So long range, soft cover. That's a 5. He gets it. So it's a +1. That looks like a front arc, but it doesn't. It's not really important. Let's see what he gets. Ooh, that's a 6. He's through. And he kills it. Oh. Oh, wow. They did take it as a side shot. That was really good. Killing a BA-20. Those of you who don't know, the BA-20 is a really useful little tool, and it's deadly. And now Lasse, of course, can choose when he's spraying his ambush, so he wants it right there, right where Bjarke has left it. That is the first kill of the game, people. That was deadly. That little anti-tank rifle, definitely pulling its weight right now. Now, the whole MMGs are shooting at the dogs or the infantry. Which will they shoot at? He shoots at the infantry. Lasse has figured out that the dogs, he can't hit them. They can't shoot him anyway because he's moved. But 2 6s. Oof. Oh, 3 hits and 2 dead. One of them could be special, but isn't. Bjarke removes 2 of his unarmed extra men. Lasse is happy about it. That was a good spread of order ice right now. So right, Bjarke gets his green roll, and they become regular. So but still, that exchange, Lasse can be really pleased with that, right? He's pinned down infantry. He's killed the BA-20 in one go, in a combination of a push, an assault, and an ambush. Really nicely done. Right, next order dice. Come on, Lasse. We don't need to check this in the rulebook. He's checking something about Reiki, about how that all works. Right now they're asking somebody at the next table. Maybe me. No, they're asking Anna's. Yeah. And they're wondering where it dies, and it of course dies where the ambush is declared. The ambusher declares when they take the shot. Um, this happens quite a lot at tournaments. Do you guys experience that as well? That somebody is, I don't remember the rule for this, um, and they ask someone at the next table. You shouldn't really do that because you're disturbing their game. So you should always ask the TO. Um, for all tournaments in Denmark, the procedure is debate it with your opponent. If you agree, move on. It doesn't matter if you got it right. If you don't agree, look it up in the rule book. If you can't still agree, then call the TO and he will give you a verdict. That's just a rule. You shouldn't really ask people at the other tables, but well, it happened quite a lot during this tournament. I had a lot of questions going to me. Right, time for the Panzerwerfer. Lasse's guys has loaded up their multi-launcher and he's training. What does he shoot at? For me, I would shoot at that house right there, right in the center of his back right now. With Bjarke's BA-10 next to it and his infantry and his poly truck behind it, I would shoot at that house. because that gives him 3 targets at least. Oh, he shoots at the other house, the one at the rear. And he gets nothing. So right now, Bjarke has really, you see this, he's really been worried and stressed about that Panzerwerfer, and it's hit nothing so far. So sometimes you just gotta weather what's coming. That's my philosophy facing off against multi-launchers anyway. Lasse gets another order dice. This sucks. Getting all of his order dice fast. But of course, it means he can go do. Yeah. Yep, now is the time to shoot those Pentaluxes, get that Steward pinned down so that if you hit with the first one, the second one can move and do something else. Come on, Lasse. Shoot at the Steward. Just sit there, shoot at the Steward. It might be cover, but falls you can do that. And with, oh well, it's a long range as well, so it's 5s, isn't it? You can still do that. You got 2 shots. Lasse declares the shot. Now Bjarke's thinking, does he recce? He does not recce. Right. He takes it to the face. Long range soft cover, 5s. Single hit. And a pin. Definitely worth it. Now the second Panzerlux is actually free to do something. One of Bjarke's dice comes up. That was pretty brave of Bjarke, just taking it to the face. Right now, that Steward is never ever going to get free of those shots. If I was Lasse, I would just shoot every single turn with one Panzerlux, pinning down the Steward, making it unable to move, unable to do anything. That would free up his other Panzerlux to do the nasty on Bjarke's center push. Right. The lieutenant, Bjarke redeploys the lieutenant in order to get him close to the unit that was shot up by the Panther. He needs them to move before they sit there and become a target. So he moves up his lieutenant. One hour left was the call. They've spent way too much time on the first turn. They're just in turn 2. Both of these guys are slow, methodical players. Second lieutenant. Going down. Come on, Bjarke. You don't need to think about that. Okay, so Bjarke decides against using his lieutenant. Instead, he goes down with some of his outflankers or reserves. I didn't really catch on the video whether he put them in outflank or in reserve. We'll see when or if they come on. I don't know if you noticed, there was a guy standing right here. That was me. I already had my game slip in my hand. We were done at this point. That was the first game for me. Was done in an hour and 15 minutes. I utterly crushed my opponent, Mark, who's from my WTC team and club. I obliterated him. Very quick game. In like turn 2, I think I had 7 of his order dice or something like that. It was an insane game. Right. So Lasse, what the hell did you just do? He takes a lot of shots. Oh, it's from his motorcycle against the inexperienced dudes in the forest. Or what? Lasse is still getting all of the first order dice here. In some respects, it's really lucky, but you have to be able to keep that momentum going. Yeah. Now he pushes up his Panzer Lux, because, as I told you, that's now free to go. Right, so he pushes towards the center here, running along the house up here, and then he takes the shots with his machine gun towards, I think towards the dog team, but he needed 7s. No such luck. Bjarke gets an order dice. Bjarke goes down with a lot more of his reserves. So he's not planning to bring them in now. Lasse gets another order dice. Right now, Lasse has an opportunity to actually push Bjarke's center push in even more. Don't know if you see this, but there's a BA-10 here, there's a dog team here, and Lasse has, I'm guessing, either the Brandenburgers or some engineers in this Hanomag. He could move the Hanomag up a little bit, just to here, and then once he gets the next order dice, he could move his engineers, Brandenburgers, out here, kill the dog team. If they have a Panzerfaust, threaten that BA-10 as well. Make it recce away. That could be a thing, couldn't it? But he gives the order dice to his light howitzer. And he takes a shot at the unit that's already pinned. Soft cover. Maybe short range. He takes the direct shot. What does Bjarke do? They go down. Right. It was long range, so it was it's a 7 now. Lasse missed the shot. Lasse gets another order dice. You'd think that he would come up rarely, wouldn't you? But yeah, nope, he gets them. There's still that central push he could do. I talked about. Otherwise, he could just waste all the dice going down with stuff. He has the horse-drawn limber, and he goes down with that, I think. Or does he move it? No, you don't need to move it, Lasse. It's not needed for anything during this mission. He moves it. Why? What? Oh, you could use it as a blocker, I guess. He moves up to the road. Pulls along the road. Bjarke goes down with his reserves. Another of Bjarke's dies. He activates the steward. And he feels he has to back up. This is actually beneficial to him, because now it's out of line of sight. Oh, they're playing as if the walls get knocked down. So he knocks down the wall. That's bad. Now he's not out of line of sight. He can still get shot up, and he's actually exposed his lieutenant as well. That sucks. Another intermission here. Sorry about that. It takes a long time recording this. Lasse has the order dice. I'm actually cooking dinner while I'm watching this right now and recording. So any sounds may be due to that. Right, what does he do? He has the truck, doesn't he? He has that truck. That might still be useful. He's got some soldiers in it. Does he push for that objective already? I know they're not that far in turns, but they're quickly spending time, so they're going to have to move at some point. They have a little under an hour left. He moves up the truck. He does. Well, the steward has gone back, hasn't it? So right now that truck is pretty safe. Still very offensive move that is. Bjarke gets an order dice. He retreats his dog team. Yeah, there's no reason to have them out in the open like that right now, because right now whatever's there has moved. So he's going to have to save them for a next turn where they have the potential of getting the first die and going out and killing that Panzer III, right? Right. Next moves. Come on, you guys, you're taking way too long thinking about this. Do stuff. Right, move. Lasse has reached a decision for his order dice here. Does the infantry exit the truck? That's what I want to know. It does. He moves to the objective. Now, what did he pull out? Again, he has a unit of Brandenburgers, he has some engineers, and he has a Shirker unit. They move up to the fence, getting ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I think that's the Shirkers. He takes some shots. Nothing happens. Another Lasses. Was that too soon? Should he have kept the Shirkers in the truck for longer? Right now they're behind a fence. They're almost on the objective. He can go down from there, more or less, and still be effective. And they're not blocking up anything. I think it was the right move. Ooh. Okay. With the next order dice, Lasse pulls his half-track through the wall and over to the edge of the house. Jan, the TO, is taking pictures for social media. That small team hard cover towards the... yeah. One possible. Nope. He needed 7s. He was shooting at the dog team behind that wreck. That is pretty unlikely to happen anyway. Okay. Next order dice. Again, Lasse goes. Lasse is still thinking about pulling out more of his infantry now, I think. Here comes the Brandenburgers. Yes, so it was the Shirkers that was the first group that got out. That was the Shirkers. Brandenburgers get out. The Brandenburgers are nasty stuff. Veterans and tooled out. They have a few Panzerfausts as well. Right, so does he put them on the objective, which has already been secured by his Shirkers, or does he run towards the center? What would you guys do? I think I'd run them towards the center and have that objective be held by my Panzerlux and the Shirkers, if I possibly could. And he did. No, we can't see them. They're behind the house. He's setting them up so that he has the opportunity to go towards the center or towards that flank objective if he needs to. Bjarke's turn. Come on, Lasse, move yourself so we can see what's going on. That's annoying. Okay, well, I did tell him that we were filming, but I didn't actually instruct him in where he was supposed to stand. Come on, what do you do, Bjarke? Bjarke was outlining a plan for running his Tokarev along the house and killing the shirkers, but of course, as he points out himself, that would immediately cost him his Tokarev. There are 2 Panzer in the area. Those autocannons will make short work of anything soft-skinned. Right. He moves up his infantry instead. And I think we're about to see some real shenanigans. Conga lining behind the wall to give himself hard cover. Yeah. Yeah, he pulls out 3, and the rest will be conga lining behind the wall. That will give him hard cover. Well played. Well played. I promise I did not teach him that trick. He knew that all on his own. And then he takes a few shots. He of course has made sure that his riflemen are in front. So that will be moved, inexperienced, soft cover, 6s. And the rest are shooting behind from the wall. I think they ruled that there were like loopholes in the wall. They hit the shirkers. One guy takes a kill, takes a wound and goes down. The shirkers are pinned. That was lucky. They're down to just the essential bits now. As Bjarke correctly points out at this point, now he needs to move some of the stuff that he just that is important, right? He's moved all his non-essential bits or gone down. So now only the important stuff is left. 45 minutes left. Bjarke considers setting his Tokarev on ambush here. Bjarke gets one more order dice. Bjarke gives a fire order on his howitzer. He's tried to hit the vehicle, trying to get a few of the Brandenburgers, but he doesn't hit. It'll be a 5 next turn. Lasse gets the order dice. There's an ambush from that Tokarev to consider, so he doesn't want to go too far forward. But he can come out. He just goes down, waiting for next turn. BA 10's left. Bjarke has the opportunity to drive all the way up and take the Panzer III head on. Maybe even try to get into the side of it at some point. Yeah, he drives up. He has Reiki on it. It can do stuff if he can find some place of safety once the retaliation comes. He turns it a little bit just to make sure that he faces everything. Right, so he's moved and his point blank, it's a 3. He has an LMG to shoot at something, I think. Yeah, he's checking if he can see the man. Moved, soft cover. Sixes. Right, he takes the MMG first, or the LMG first. He needs 6s. And he fails miserably. And then it's the main gun. Light anti-tank gun. He hits. +4. That's a 9. He's through. On fire. Okay. So double pinned, and he needs to take an order test. Here comes the order test. 2 pins. He makes it. Half an hour left. They're really at the end game here, setting up for next turn. Turn 3. Lasse gets the first order dice. Now, since we're in the last 30 minutes, they need to move. They need to get on those objectives before it's too late. Possibly they won't even have time to run through this whole turn. the way they've been running so far, it's been slow going, right? So both of them need to finish this off now. They need to contest the objectives in the center. They need to hold their own, and that is it. Right now, Lasse's having one major issue, and that is his own objective, which is right down here. He hasn't got anybody on it. So he's pushing towards the objective over here. He's pushing towards the objective over here. He has his panzer on the central objective, but he hasn't got anyone on this objective down here. And that is a problem. Bjarke, he has got his infantry strung out here, within reach of contesting that. He has his BA-10 on the objective here. He has something to move up here. Bjarke is in a pretty good situation right now. Also because he has that much more sorry, just checking something. Right. Sorry about that. Felt like my camera was out. I think it was. Anyways. Nope. Lasse is in a difficult spot here because he hasn't got the infantry to take all objectives, and he hasn't got the timer now. I think Bjarke may have this. So Lasse now has the opportunity to start out with his Panzer Lux. The Panzer Lux right here. If he moves that towards the center, shoots at the BA-10, that will have to recce. That will mean it goes away, and his Panzer is then free to move up and start pressing through the center. That may be an option here. That would leave him free to operate with his infantry towards these two objectives. Can't see what he's doing, but I think he's actually moving the. Is he moving the Panzer Lux or is he moving his infantry? He's moving the Lux, and he's moving towards the center. Now, this is the move I just described. He's moving into the center. Now he has an autocannon shooting, and he thereby forces Bjarke to recce all the way to the rear here. Bjarke recces. Now, the Panzer III is now free, and his Lasse's infantry behind this can move up towards the objective. He can move on to that objective. He just needs to get something on that objective. That will give him 3 objectives. But can he stop Bjarke from contesting? Less than half an hour. Bjarke moves out his dog teams. Right. The tank has not moved. Now is the time to do it. He moves them forward, and he releases the dogs 18 inches within range. Here comes the dogs. Woof woof. Right. Oh. He needs force to hit. On a 1, they will run down towards his own Tokarev. Oh, there's a 1. So one of the dogs run towards the Tokarev, and one of them takes towards the Panzer III. Oof. That sucks. Okay, the Panzer III first. That's a +5 hit. Bjarke, you don't need to look that up. It's a +5 hit. Come on. He's checking. And he only gets 8. That's a glancing hit. Another crew stunned. Okay, double pinned and going down. So the Panzer III is out of the game. That's an 8 towards the Tokarev. Oh, that's a single damage. And it blows up. Oh, he's his dogs killed his own Tokarev and stunned the Panzer III. That sucks. They're forgetting to put the crew stunned dice on the Panzer III. Bjarke goes again. Right now, Bjarke feels like he's in trouble. He was actually in a really good situation going into the start of this turn, because he has infantry near his own objective, right? And he can contest the other objectives, meaning that he could win just on objectives, because Lasse is still not on the objective down here. But, losing his own troops fast. But right now, both of the panzers in the center are out. They can't do anything else. And here we have the Panzerlux over here still active. A lot of spectators coming by. That's just not okay. One of them was unfortunately me. Right, come on, Lasse, you know what to do. You need to get onto the objectives. Nothing else matters right now. Okay, he's shooting his Panzerwerfer. Of course, he does have chances of doing something with that right now, but it doesn't really matter all that much. He moves it first, so he doesn't advance. He checks his line of sight. He still wants to be able to hit that house. And he can. Oh, he's actually shooting at the infantry way down there. Okay. I wouldn't have done that. I would have shot at the house. Simply because when you're shooting at the house, you might get the infantry, but you might also get the BA-10. That's right there. I think the BA-10 is out now. Yeah, it's out. So the lieutenant and the infantry. Any sexes? Nope. And he gets it. Ooh. No, he didn't get it. No. Okay. Bjarke makes a leadership test. He makes it. He rolls an 8. He's got a lieutenant right there. So it just makes it. Barely. He's got 1 or 2 pins now. He moves up. Takes the main gun shot at the Panzer Lux. 7s. Bjarke is way more likely to hit the infantry that's right there. Lasse goes down, making it 7s. Yeah, right now Lasse, if he's within 3 inches of that objective, he's got it. He doesn't need to do anything else. He just needs to make sure that Bjarke's infantry doesn't contest. He's got a few. 2 hits. 2 dead. Ooh. That unit of shirkers is in deep trouble because all pins count double, and now they just lost half the unit, didn't they? They might just go away. What does he roll? Yeah, no. They are dead. The main gun, instead of the Panzer Lux, goes into the truck. And he misses. Oof. I think Lasse just lost the game. Lasse really needed his infantry to be on that objective. This list is too vulnerable. It can't deal with losing infantry choices here. Oh, oh, that sucks. Of course, kill dice still count, but will it be enough? I'm not sure. Lasse has an order dice. He takes revenge with the Panzer Lux, moving up to the objective, making sure he contests. Yeah. Then his options are now shoot the infantry or shoot the steward. If you're shooting the steward, then it means that you're setting up for future turns. If you're shooting the infantry, it means that you're trying to make sure that this is the final turn. What does he do? Yep, he shoots at the free squad. Lasse knows that this might be the final turn for him. 6 MMG shots into the inexperienced free squad. Not a hit. Not a one. Right, next order dice. Lasse goes again. Make this count. Go on to the objectives, Lasse. You need to go on to the objectives. Oh, I'm getting really stressed out here by them not moving towards the objectives. 20 minutes left of the game. Right, the Brandenburgers. The Brandenburgers are up. They move on to the flanking objective. That was the call for 15 minutes. Oof. So not even the 20 I thought. 15 minutes left. The Brandenburgers are moving up. They're moving on to the objective. They had assault rifles, I think. So they are really, really dangerous to the infantry. But there are not enough of them. Not enough to stop Bjarke's infantry completely. Oh. Yep, they're measuring distance towards the free squad. Just figuring out what to roll to hit. Right, shots being taken. Rifles and assault rifles. That looks like ones and twos. Nothing. Lasse goes again. You should really start running that assault rifle. But before you do that, make sure that those inexperienced dudes are down. So move up the motorcycle, shoot, and have them go down. Bjarke refuses to go down. Move soft cover. Fives. Three hits. All three kill. And morale is good. But pinned and they've lost a few men. Yeah, they're not going to move forward. They're not going to do anything. Now is the time to run that also, that anti-tank rifle. Bjarke brings on his outflankers. He's going to pressure that that objective. So he moves up, shoots at the Brandenburgers. That's moved soft cover. Maybe range? I don't think so. He needs fives. And he delivers a pin. That's all. That's all. And moves out. Now his problem is he can't actually get within range of that objective, I think. But he can try to kill 2 units with one go, because he has Panzerfaust and he also has a flamethrower, I think. Flamethrower. He misses. Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust hits. He rolls a 7. That's enough to scratch the paint here. And another crew stunned. Right? Bjarke cannot kill those panzers for the love of him. And he gets another order dice. Bjarke has anti-tank grenades on his free squad, which means that he charges the panzer in the center, which immediately does defensive fire, but it's pinned. So he has 2 hits. He needs 6s to hit. Was that 1 dead, I think? Yeah. And since Lasse hasn't moved, he's gonna hit on 4s, so that's a lot of damage potential here. He gets 5 hits, so that's a +5, the equivalent of a Panzerfaust. And another crew stunned. Oh, that sucks, Bjarke. Oh, that. Oh. He's going to consolidate. Six inches, okay. So he pulls the whole squad up there. I don't really think that Bjarke needs to do this. That will not get him to safety from whatever is in the Hanomag, but he could have just stayed here contesting the objective. Right now, if he gets another turn, he's right in front of two panzers. But he could have surrounded the other Panzer 3 here. Made sure that it can move. Bjarke forgot the green test. Nothing happens. Lasse's order dice. He shoots at the inexperienced unit in forest, and we just got the 5-minute call. He misses. Bjarke gets another order dice. And here Bjarke correctly surmised that he needs to move out. Right now, actually, I think an ambush on the light howitzer would have been more beneficial. He's not going to get within range of the objective, but everything Bjarke has moves forward. He's setting up for next turn. He's hoping that he gets next turn. It really depends on how quickly these last few moves are made. Here comes the run with the anti-tank rifle. Can they get close enough? Well, that's a bit of a... Okay. They can. That's a little bit of a wonky move there, isn't it? But he moves up to the objective. I think Lasse has now one objective that's clearly his. The rest are contested. Bjarke has one objective that's clearly his. Oh, he still, of course, needs to have something on the objective, but didn't he have that poly truck right behind the house? Now is the time to move on to the objective if you're not on it right now. Bjarke tries to get this unit going, but they don't. Lasse's turn. Lasse is still waiting. Oh, you have 4 minutes left. Oh, don't wait for this, Lasse. Just go. Just please, just. Right. If he moves his Hanomag forward and then right along the house, and then disgorges the engineers in it, he might be able to shoot with a Hanomag, maybe kill the free squad, and then move on to the objective in the center. Instead, he tries the Panzer first. They have forgotten that you have to put a dice on crew stunned. Doesn't matter. They won't have time anyway. Bjarke advances to the objective. Oh, you had me worried there. That was the last dice out of the bag. Now, the time has run out for Lasse. He did not move when he had to. Time has run out. Oh, I think he blew his chance. Nothing that he does now will matter. So, I think Lasse wins on kill dice, but that's it. Because they hold one objective each. Bjarke holds this objective, Lasse holds the objective down here. Lasse might be able to get a few extra kills here, but it's a draw in the main mission and a win on secondary points. Let's just see if he actually manages to kill that free squad. I don't think he will. Something's being measured very, very carefully here. They're trying to figure out whether or not it's on close range. Lasse misses with his Panzerfaust and with his flamethrower, I think. So now he has a few rifles left, and that is it. End of game. Right. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really sucked that these guys were so... They had to think so much, which wasted so much time for them. So that they didn't even... They didn't get many moves, did they? Lasse ends up winning 6-4. So 3 points for his objective down here, 3 points for the objective up here, and then the kill points. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time. I have one more game from Book. Cheers.